Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte and today I'm really excited because I will be filming with all of my Clionadh shadows because I just got the last ones that I have ordered during their sale in my mail yesterday. So now I have, because I had 6 from before that I ordered right before the sale because I didn't know they were having a sale and I wanted to try them out, and especially like Ice Algae, this shade here, I really wanted to try. But now I finally have all of the shadows that I've ordered and I thought I would try something new, so I want to do eye swatches of these. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to go. And it's probably going to be a long video, so just be aware of that. I will try to leave some timestamps for what rows I'm swatching on my eyes, either up here or down in my description box, just so that if you're just interested in, for example, this shade, then you know that that's going to be around that time. But I think I will just get going because it's probably going to take quite a lot of time. So I'm just going to use my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define as my base. On my skin right now I only have a CC cream from Lumina or Lumina, I don't know how to say it, but it's the one they have in ultra light. And if my skin is looking really pale now, it's because, I mean it is, but at the same time I have my window right in front of me and it's snowing outside, so it's completely white and it's reflecting all of the light inside here. So yeah, that is why things are a little bit extra light today. For the eye swatches I'm going to use 2 different brushes. I'm going to use my Kaleidos Makeup blending brush in S3. It's this big one for all of my mattes, because then I can like pack it on but also try to blend out the edges to see how the shadow performs. And for the shimmer I just want to use a flat brush, which is this one, S4 by Kaleidos Makeup as well, so that's going to just pack it on. And I'm not going to use any glitter glue unless I see that it's necessary, because my Makeup Revolution concealer is a tacky base by itself and it usually works quite nicely with shimmers, so we'll just have to see. But I will just go ahead and start with this shade right here, which is called Glint. We'll see if you can maybe see it a little bit better, but it's from the Stained Glass collection and it's one of their iridescent glitter multi-chromes, so it has a lot of beautiful shifts in it when you see it close up. And I'm going to use Sprite, which came a little bit cracked on my other eye, so I'll just start with this one on my right eye. And as you maybe see, then it's in a round pan because I did re-pan it. I hope the lighting is okay now. Just make sure that my base is not creasing, and I'm just going to start applying this. So since this is an iridescent glitter multi-chrome, it's probably better used as a topper shade, because then you will see more of the shift if you have a darker base to it. So I will just go ahead and use a little bit of light so you can see the glitter a little bit better. So that was Glint, and now I will go in with the shade Sprite, which was the one next to it. And it's quite loose in the pan. Again, I'm going to make sure that my base is not creasing, and I'll just start packing it on. I don't know how much you can see of the shadow, so I'll try to turn down the lighting again, so maybe you will see it a bit better. But at least to me, it looks like a dirty off-white almost. And I think this will work really nice as a transition shade for the green shadows, or maybe even the yellows, because it has that yellowy green undertone to it. But it's still quite pigmented, at least in my opinion. So I'm excited about that. So the next 2 shadows I will be swatching are the shadows Faun right here and Maize right here. So I will start with Faun on my right eye, and then I will use Maize on my left. I'm sorry, I just noticed that I hadn't turned the lighting back on to its normal light, so sorry about that. So this is Faun. I feel like it's kind of getting darker in the crease, but that might have to do with the base that I'm using, since I'm using concealer and not a normal base. But it's a really pretty light yellow shade. Now I'm just going in with Maize on the other side. So Maize is looking really beautiful. I will just turn down the lighting again so you can see how the shadows are looking in darker light. So here you kind of see what I'm talking about, that it's getting darker in the crease. But that, I don't feel like that is the case for Maize here, and it's looking really pigmented. I think even more pigmented in real life than it does on the video. But I see that it's a tiny bit patchy here. Yeah, but it kind of goes away a little bit when I just pack on the shadow. So yeah, I really like both shades, honestly. So next shadows for my eye swatches are the shades Gourd, which is here, it's like a light peach, and Parchment, which is more of a dirty, muted mustard or something. So I'll start with Gourd for my right eye, and then I'll take Parchment on my left. Okay, so that is Gourd and Parchment, and both of them applied really nicely, I feel like. None of them are really that much darker in the crease, and they blend beautifully. So all shadows up until now have been really great in my opinion. And I really like these colors, especially like colors like this that have a little bit of green in them, like yellowy green. They make my eyes look even more blue than they probably really are. So the two next shadows I'm going to be eye swatching are Bramble and Ice Algae. So Bramble is going on my right eye and Ice Algae on my left eye. Okay, so it's kind of funny because I'm seeing I'm sure you've heard about Ice Algae. It's like a matte but a duochrome. So I sort of see a line right here where you can see the actual blue shift in the shadow, which is kind of funny. So I don't know, it's probably something with the concealer, because I have used this and I had no problems whatsoever with it doing that. So yeah, remember that this is mostly just to see how the shadow is looking on the eye, but also a little bit about how it performs, but probably looks different with a different base. Because when I was using this, I did use my Urban Decay primer potion. It's just I can't be using a primer potion that's worth like $30 for this, because I'm going to use it up. But Bramble is also looking amazing. It's a little bit darker in the crease, but nothing crazy, and it blends really beautifully. And like the pigment on these shadows is It's insane. The next shadows will be Sublimate, which is a really bright light lime green, and then it's Sedge, which is more of a minty, cool toned green. So I swear there's something weird about my lid exactly right here because it's where also ice algae was looking a little bit weird. But then again, if you think about me cutting my crease exactly where my hood is covering it, I think it would look really nice still, but there is something weird about it. As for the lime green, it's a little bit chalky, but then again, if you look in the crease, it's looking really nicely blended and I think it will work great. So yeah, it's Sublimate and then it's Sedge. It's looking a little bit patchy, but I was packing on quite a lot because I was trying to blend out that weird little spot. Next up we have the shadows Poison Ivy, and then it's Forest Heart here, which is the shimmery one. And as you could see, Poison Ivy also came a little bit cracked, but it's not that much. Okay, so as you can see, the more I start blending this, the more it gets this really big line exactly in my hooded eyes. So I've decided that I will go ahead and try to use this shadow on a different base. So I'm going to use my NARS base instead, just to see if it does the same when I do that. But first I will just go ahead and use Forest Heart. So that is Forest Heart, and it's such a beautiful shimmer shade. I love it. And if you use this on top of glitter glue, it's going to be even more shiny, but I don't think you need to. I think it's better to almost just use some MAC Fix Plus when you apply it or something. It's so beautiful. So now I have NARS Smudge Proof Primer on my lid instead, so I'm just going to pack the shadow on just like I usually do, and then we'll see if it's going to do that weird thing in the crease, because I often have that, and I am packing on a lot with my brush, so that's why I have the fallout. But I just want to know that I put on enough product, because if not, the base can dry out by me brushing the brush there, and yeah, I just want to make sure that the application is as good as it can be. And it does look a little bit better actually without the concealer, but with a normal primer instead. Wow, it's so pretty. Just look at the blending, it's like so effortless and beautiful. At least it's good to know that it works a little bit better with a different base. But it kind of makes sense that a concealer is usually a little bit more moisturizing, so a primer made for eyeshadow is probably better anyway. It's just, as I said, I'm not going to use up all of my expensive primer on doing this, but it's good to know. So the next two shadows will be Leatherbound and Tundra. I'm just taking some setting powder just to show you that it actually does blend quite nicely. It's just that obviously my base is still wet, so you have to kind of like dry it down to blend out the edges more beautifully. Okay, so this is leather bound. I felt like it blended nicely, but obviously when you don't set your base closer to the eyebrow, the shadow is going to latch onto the skin where the base is not set yet. So if I would have gone in with setting powder first, then it would have been a better blend. So I think this one is actually a really great shadow, and even though it looks a little bit more dirty, dark brown in the pan, it does transfer more dark, deep, cool toned brown, which is perfect because I wanted it to deepen up any look with the other shadows that I have. And I do have, as you can see, I have blue and I have some purples that are coming next, and I have some warm tones, orange, yellows. So I think this could be perfect to blend out any of those shades. And obviously, as you can see, Tundra just surprised me so much because it was so pigmented and it blends so nicely. And it's like a light shade, and it's also blue, so I'm really positively surprised by this one. Next up we have these two beautiful, gorgeous purple shades. So this is Skylights, and then we have Lofty here, which is more of a duochrome. Honestly, I really love both of these shadows. Just look at how sparkly Skylights is, and it has like both pinkish sparkles but also really cool toned, almost blue sparkles to it, so it's really stunning. And Lofty is just a beautiful, more chromatic duochrome, I feel like, because it has more of a warm lavender base and more of a light blue sheen to it. So it's also stunning, and I think it would really be beautiful if you top it over some darker purples or something like that. Both of these are just so beautiful in my opinion. Next we have Daydream and Aurora. So Daydream, as you can see, is a little bit more cool toned, true lavender, and Aurora is more of a very light purple. As you can see, Aurora blended out really beautifully and it's very pigmented. And then we have Daydream, which is so freaking pigmented, and it also has a dark line, but obviously if you use a different primer you won't have that problem. And I have actually used this in a look before and it was no problem, so it's just a beautiful, stunning color. Next up, it's this beautiful duochrome Toadstool, and then it's Inferno, which has some golden glitter specks, so I'm really excited to see if those will transfer to my eye. Toadstool is looking really pretty, and it's a very duochrome shade, so it's like a warm brown base and a green shift to it. I think this will look even more stunning if you top it over, for example, Leatherbound, because that's such a dark base. And then we have Inferno, and honestly I don't see any of the glitter specks, like barely. So there's a little bit, but I would definitely just use this as a matte shadow. It's like a beautiful raspberry red, so I'm really happy to have this shadow. It's super beautiful and it blends really nicely, it seems, because I'm not like blending a lot now, so I think it's a very Good shade. Finally, we're at the last two. My eyes are getting so sore. This is the shade Wildberry, and then it's Hunter, and these ones would look so pretty together, I believe. So since this is looking really patchy, I will try to just show you once more, since this is like the last anyway. I will just be using my NARS base to show you that this is not going to look like this with another base. So I hope that helped a little bit to show you that these shadows that do look really patchy sometimes, they do apply so much nicer with a proper eyeshadow primer. And I really like this shade. It looks so cute, and I'm sure using this with, for example, Lofty or honestly also Toadstool would be really pretty. And this shade right here, Hunter, is also really beautiful. I am just going to even it out a little bit more just because I'm going to take a picture of this, and it looks a little bit weird in the edges, of course, because I just slapped it on my lid. But it's like a really pretty, almost silvery, darker mauve, I would say this is. And I think it would also look really nice paired with Wildberry. So finally I'm done with all of the eye swatches, and these shadows are so pigmented and beautiful, but they do also have a lot of kick up, just so you're aware of that. I have blown away the most of it, but as you can see, this is like a little bit of the kick up from Wildberry. And yeah, I just would probably recommend you to go in a little bit more careful than I did, because I was really going into the shadows now to be able to get as much pigment for the eye swatches as possible. But just so you know that they're a little bit soft, but super pigmented, as you could see. And those shadows that did not perform that well on the concealer base do perform really nicely on a proper eyeshadow base. So just to let you know that even though they might look a little bit weird on the concealer base, they will look really beautiful if you apply them on top of a proper eyeshadow base. So I hope that this was helpful for you. And I will of course list all of these shadows in the order that I have them here, from left to right and top to bottom, and I will list that in the description box. And I will try to also post a picture that is labeled with all of these on my Instagram, and then I will try to leave a link down below. So yeah, let me know if you have tried Clionadh yourself and if you want to try them, because I think that their shadows are really great. They're so pigmented, and especially like these bright ones like Daydream and Maize, and even this one Tundra, the blue one, they're like so pigmented, and I'm just really excited. And this gorgeous shimmer right here, Skylights, oh, I totally recommend it. So yeah, I guess that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content from me, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you did like it. And hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!